Hey guys, welcome so much. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Meslin. I am your mental trainer here on YouTube, and welcome to Mental Training with Mez, where we focus entirely on strengthening the concentration and focus muscles of our mind because these are mental muscles, and when they are strong, when they are healthy, our ability to handle and create the life that we desire to create is with much more ease, much more efficiency and effectiveness. And as we begin to master ourselves in becoming mentally fit and sustaining that mental health, we actually make the whole entire process of creating effortless. So thank you so much for being here today. So with the beginning, or I should say in the beginning of a video, I decided I would do Q&A, which is basically the bringing us back to the fundamentals of why it's important to mentally train. So we want to train because when we are mentally healthy, or I should say, we want to train mentally because when we are mentally healthy, the how-tos of life are one of ease, meaning how to do something, how to go about it, how to make the best use of the resources we have to even begin to go about it, all are dependent on the health of our mind. And when we are healthy, we naturally know the how-tos. And this has been glimpses of my experience with mental training, is that the more mentally fit we become, the easier it is to understand life. And as we begin to acquire and accumulate more and more knowledge and understanding of life, this really does begin to give us the answers to how to do certain things at any given point, no matter where we are in our lives. And so I wanted to begin every video with a question and then answer it as directly as life has given the lesson to me and my understanding of that lesson. So how to be sincere is the main topic, or is the main question of today's topic. Being sincere allows us to really stay in alignment with life, meaning you're not creating more drama than necessary in life. You're literally allowing yourself to remain in flow, and allowing ourselves to remain in flow means we're not wasting time with things that are basically distractions to what it is we actually want to see and what it is we actually want to experience. So if we learn to be sincere, we're basically allowing ourselves to be human and evolve in our humanness. So it's okay to be human, but you don't want to stay fixed. You don't want to stay in a stagnant state of understanding of what it means to be truly human, because the natural state, the design of our humanness is that we are to evolve. We are to change. We are to adapt. We are to make adjustments. We are to pivot. And if we are not flexing that ability, that power that we have to adapt, to pivot, to make adjustments, then that is what creates suffering and struggles in our lives. It is what puts us in a state of mind or a frame of mind where we're not necessarily seeing how divine we are and how to use that divinity to transcend a life that we don't desire to see and experience. So the type of training we do on this channel is faith-based. Faith-based mental training really requires that we bring not only our knowledge and understanding of life up a notch, but the only way to bring it up a notch is to actually implement faith. Like, you actually have to train the mind to be focused on life in a certain way, because that is what faith is. Faith is simply the recognition that there is a supreme power and that nothing is impossible to this supreme power in our lives. And so faith is a law that allows us to bring the intimacy of supreme power into ourselves, into our very own lives. And so you want to be sincere, because being sincere means you are never lying. To be sincere, the how to be sincere is simply to practice telling the truth. But telling the truth means you have to take full accountability and responsibility for yourself. So there is never anyone to blame and never anyone to point the finger to when you're being sincere. You practice telling the truth without pointing the finger or blaming someone for whatever it is you're feeling, whatever emotion is present, or whatever is happening. And so being sincere helps to keep us in alignment, because so long as you're being sincere, you're never lying, you're never manipulating, you're never judging, you're never critiquing, you're remaining in flow with life. And when we allow ourselves to be in flow with life, we're maintaining a state of mental peace. Because if you are in flow with life, you're not creating disruptions, you're not creating consequences that you don't necessarily want to experience, you're not creating an unfulfilled desire for life. You're basically living life in a state where, because you're mentally at peace, you're handling and navigating the different movements and motions of life with ease. And this actually makes you feel fulfilled. This actually makes you feel more alive, with more alive, which then gives us permission to grow and evolve and have more and be more and do more, which means we become a beneficial presence to society, as Michael Beckwith would say. We become a beneficial presence to the people in our lives, to the people that come in contact with us, to basically in everything we do. So you want to learn how to be sincere, because you want to be in flow with life, especially if you remain in flow with life. Faith teaches us that through you there is nothing impossible that God cannot do in your life. So you set your desire, you set the aim for which you're trying to live, the life you envision, the life you want to live or experience. And then you trust that so long as you are being sincere throughout the process, you're learning to tell the truth, to see the truth, and you're never pointing a finger or blaming anyone in that process. That allows you to come into knowledge and understanding about life, which then allows you to make choices and actions that you take in the moment. And that keeps you in flow, because you can always trust whatever action or choices you make in the moment from a frame of being sincere, from trusting life. That is going to allow you to handle the consequences of it. You will never be in fear, uncertain, doubtful, worried, anxious about what comes back from the output of what you give to life when you are being sincere in it. So the how to be sincere is to practice telling the truth without pointing a finger or blaming anyone. So you learn to take 100% accountability and responsibility for your actions. So the example I like to use is the emotion of anger. So being sincere allows us to acknowledge that we feel an emotion, but we maintain the fact that the emotion does not have to control how we move, how we see, how we feel, how we speak. It doesn't have to dictate our behavior. So that is being sincere. It means I get to feel what I feel in the moment, but I don't have to let this emotion control me. I can stay focused on the present moment, and then take whatever action or choice I feel is beneficial in the moment and trust it. And that is learning to trust life. And you want to trust life because it's the first principle of faith. Trust God. So to trust God, you have to trust life, because God is the creator of life. And so learning to pay attention to life is to learn to be sincere, using life as an opportunity to practice telling the truth. Because without practice telling the truth, number one, you'll never acknowledge that we do lie. We lie to avoid the consequences, try to make things a bit softer, hopefully try to protect ourselves, try to manipulate the moment. And we've learned to do it at a young age. And we haven't really broke that habit until we learn to practice breaking that habit. And it is a habit I genuinely feel everyone will suffer from, because it's a habit that really does sort of help you to navigate life when you're younger. And so we do lie, and we do learn to lie. And because we learn to lie, we have to learn to break that habit by implementing a corresponding balancing habit. So you learn to break the habit of lying by simply telling the truth. But faith teaches us that if you are going to tell the truth, it has to be from a state of supreme power. Knowing that divinity is the breath and that breath is life, you learn to tell the truth without blaming, without pointing the finger. And so you always acknowledge whatever you feel in the moment, but you're staying true to the fact that whatever you feel does not have to dictate how you move or what you do, what you say, how you deal with the problem itself. All right, so that was the Q&A. I will make it even more pristinely clear at the end of our mental training session. So let's begin. So the first things first, I would like for you to wear comfortable clothing. I got really close to the camera, didn't I? Please make sure you are wearing comfortable clothing. We are actually sitting and mentally training the mind. We are going to be focused on our breathing. And so this is a sitting form of mental training. There are moving forms, which I call workout, but this is a sitting mental training session. So please wear comfortable clothing. Be in a space where you feel comfortable enough to close your eyes should you desire to close your eyes. If you find it difficult to sit for 15 minutes straight, move around, drink some water, use the restroom, stretch. That will help you to really endure or, make the training session a bit more bearable if you kind of just move the body a little bit before you sit down, because you are going to be sitting for 15 minutes straight. Lastly, back support. Please make sure you have back support. This is just going to help to keep the spine elongated and supported and erect so that our breathing, the manner in which we're sitting and we're breathing, is in alignment with reality. The breath is supreme power. So you don't want to be sitting all slouched and not representing the fact that you understand that. If you can be honest to the point with yourself that the breath is life, life is divinity, divinity is truth, and the reason truth is powerful is because it's supreme power, then you understand that sitting in a position that doesn't acknowledge that truth it's creating drama. So we want to sit with our spine erect and our back supported. So a chair, a pillow, a wall, a tree, anything that you feel is going to help you sit comfortably, do so now. All right, so all we're going to be doing, this form of training, which I call faith-based mental training, all we're going to be doing is consciously breathing, meaning you are going to intentionally breathe in and intentionally breathe out. No holding your breath, no pausing. So you want to make this an in and out fluid movement. You don't have to control your breathing. It's okay if you find that you're fluctuating between fast and slow throughout the 15-minute mental training session. It's perfectly okay. All we're doing in this moment is strengthening our concentration and focus muscles. These are the mental muscles of the mind. And when we learn to stay focused on our breathing, we are not only strengthening these muscles, but we're also learning a lot about life in this process. Just from sitting, you are going to learn a lot about life because the breath is life. And so as you're paying attention to it, you're going to come into insights and revelations about it. And that's the knowledge you need to take out into the world for the life you're going to create. But you have to be sincere. You are going to feel uncomfortable. You might feel antsy. There's a part of you that doesn't even really want to train, but you have to learn to honor emotions without allowing them to dictate how you move or what you do. So we learn to maintain balance by seeing that the breath is always balanced, because when our focus of attention is on the breath, we are balanced. We remain anchored. So we get to feel what we're feeling. And this allows us to be human, because no one is here to be perfect, but we are here to experience the perfection that is the breath within us. And so when you learn to just be human, it means to feel what you're going to feel, but to respect the fact that you have control over how you respond to those emotions. That is what faith teaches us. That is the highest knowledge and understanding we have of life, is that we are God informed. So there can never be truth to something having more power over you than your choice to give power to that thing. So we come into a state of understanding by simply choosing to experience life. And to experience life in an intelligent way, we have to learn to be sincere. So we are going to be intentionally breathing in and intentionally breathing out, not holding our breath, fluid, big breaths to begin as a warm-up, and then I start the timer. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Big breath. Big breath. Big breath. And begin. So, for the next 15 minutes, all we're doing is intentionally breathing in and intentionally breathing out. In and out of our nose, mouth closed. Every inhale gets a connected exhale. Every exhale gets a connected inhale. Maintain your form, don't move, and breathe through any discomfort you're feeling to the best of your ability. You don't have to close your eyes, but you can if you want to. Make adjustments if you need to and go back to holding the form. We're intentionally breathing in, intentionally breathing out, maintaining form to the best of our ability, not holding, not pausing, just breathing fluidly on purpose. 10 minutes. Keep breathing in and out, in and out. Again, eyes can be open or closed. All we're doing is intentionally breathing in and intentionally breathing out. We're consciously breathing. 5 minutes. Continue to intentionally breathe in and intentionally breathe out. Again, make adjustments if you need to, and go back to holding form. Don't try to control your breathing. Go with whatever pace or flow you are seeing and feeling in the moment. Just continue to intentionally breathe in and intentionally breathe out without pausing, without holding your breath. 3 minutes. Hold form. Intentionally breathe in and out. Big breath. Thank you, guys. That was our 15-minute mental training session. So, how to be sincere. Be sincere by focusing on the breath in spite of what you're feeling. To be sincere, the law of faith teaches us that we have to be human in that sincerity. So that means you have every right to feel how you feel while focusing on the breath, because that is supreme power. So that is going to allow you to hold sovereignty over your movement, over your speech, over what you're seeing. And so in life, being sincere is always going to make sure we are never lying. And successful people, great human beings, are very good at being perfectly imperfect. They've learned not to lie by simply embracing what they're feeling, but controlling their response to those emotions. And so, how to be sincere? Strengthen your mental muscles. Keep your focus of attention on your breathing in spite of what you're feeling. This is going to allow you to be in flow with life. This is what's going to allow you to always see life for what it is. And that knowledge, that data is what you use to react to it, to respond to it, to engage with it, to be with it. And so we learn that being sincere is the tool of learning to see what I'm see what I'm seeing without negating how I feel. Namaste, guys.